This is what I see a lot of people doing on any social media. They always try to convince you that this works instead of this, or that works instead of this. It all works. You all got to work it. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and going over the details of what I'm going to be doing today. And then I'm going to demonstrate the DM conversation machine that I'm using. So last week, or the last time I went live, I discussed something called the $5 shift. It's just a way to start getting a buyer's list. If you don't have that, you should have that because it really helps in terms of, you know, getting the right people, getting your stuff in front of the right people, right? You want to get your, whatever it is that you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you want to get it in front of the right people. So a lot of people will tell you, or you'll hear online, that DMs don't work, cold DMs, you don't got to do that. Let me break the myth for everybody. You have to work your business. This is not a magic wand that if you do this instead of this, it's going to work. You have to work your business. You just have to make a decision what lane you're going to go in. Are you going to do webinars? Are you going to do mini trainings like this? Are you going to do just learn how to do emails? There are people making thousands of dollars just doing emails. They don't want to be in front of anybody, but they learned the skill and took the time to learn the skill of how to talk to people in email to get them to do the action that they want to take. People like to blog sometimes because they like to engage with people who like to read. It just all depends on what you want to do. I'm doing this because I know it works. It's not that tedious. And I believe with all my heart that the shortest path to cash is a conversation. When you have a connection with somebody through a conversation with them, that is the shortest path to get them into your world and get them to buy your stuff. And so I'm sharing this because my partner and I, as you can see here, we made $23,000 in a single day using 15 people in a Zoom link from a Facebook group. That sounds unbelievable. Let me tell you how it's possible and repeatable, right? So I'm not lying. See it here. This is the lady who did the program. This is me. You see my face, and that was my partner at the time. I wanted him to be a guest because he was really good at filling the room with really people who would take action, right? But he couldn't make it today. He had to work. So we'll get him on in another time. Even though she said a month, we did this in a single day. So it's quite possible to get that done. This was back in 2021, but it's quite possible to get that done. So when people tell you it don't work, and what did we use? DM conversation. We didn't do anything fancy. It wasn't a whole lot of people. It was 15 people in the room, but we made that kind of money. So we get into it. Today I'm going to go through why DM's conversations are a secret weapons to sales and how you can turn small, engaged audience into significant revenue. Here's the power of DMs. No matter what you hear online, it's not true. We've proven that. Personal one-on-one interactions that build trust faster than passive content works better. So this is the personal one-on-one interaction works better than if you just keep on posting content. For me, content is actually just a way for people to know you are present, that you have something that you feel passionate about, that you are working in that field or whatever you're doing in the moment. So when they hit your profile page or they see a live stream that you're doing or whatever you're doing, I see that Michael does live streams sometimes. They know that this is something that you care about. So that's what I think content can do. You can pull people from content as well if you have your messaging right, but that's the strongest part of content. DMs make people feel seen, heard, and valued. Right? Why does this matter? It's not about the numbers, it's about the engagement. I'll say that again. It's not about the numbers, it's about the engagement. Let me put that in red right in front of you because I think this is really important for you to think about this. It's about the engagement. You don't want to be thinking, well, I don't have 5,000 people, so I'm not going to get the engagement. It doesn't matter because there are people, I know somebody who's getting like 100,000 views on something, but I never see him posting that he brought somebody to success and some sales. And you could get tied up on social media with this whole ideology that you have to, have all this engagement. You don't need thousands of followers. You need to maximize the relationship with the ones that you have, right? Whatever you have, I call it polarizing your messaging. You really want to speak to those people, those set of people who really want what you have. You need to know who they are, right? When my partner and I planned that Zoom call, we didn't focus on packing the room. We focused on connecting with a small group of people who genuinely needed what we had to offer. And that's why I started with the offer, because the offer is the most important thing. So when you do go live or you do the DM conversation, you're confident in it. Here was a key takeaway. Small, well-connected audience can lead to big results when you use DMs to nurture relationships. There are a lot of people who say, don't skip the nurture, just go straight through. In today's market, maybe back in 2012 and 15, you could just drop a link. But today, people got hurt by other marketers. People are skeptical, right? So a lot of people do like 3-day or 4-day launches so that they can spend time with these people, because they're not just going to take out 10K, 5K and just give it to you like that, right? Not these days. Here's the mistakes most people make, though. The trap. Treating DMs like cold outreach. I get this. So I just heard this morning. Cold outreach. Your people aren't completely cold to you. If they're engaging with your program, if you're reaching out to them and you're having a conversation, that is no longer a cold conversation. You could go into a bar, talk to somebody, and walk away with a number. I've gone into stores, got into a conversation, walked away with an email. So when they're talking about cold outreach, I have no idea what they're talking about, right? You don't treat it cold, treat it differently. Coming off as robotic, spammy, and overly sales driven, that's to me is equaling cold. But I'm going to take you away from even thinking that you're cold, right? Here's the fix. Approach DMs like you're talking to a friend, not just pushing them hard. Will come into your inbox, and the first thing they say after hi is, I'm having a webinar, I'm having this. There is no conversation prior to, inviting them to something. You can't just say, hi, come to my thing. That's crazy. And that's cold DM, right? Here's an example. Instead of saying, hey, check out my offer as soon as you come in, try, hey, name, I saw your post about a specific topic. Doesn't matter what it is. I was thinking about this just last week. What made you think about it in this way? That's a really good conversation, right? Doesn't have to be about business. It could be about a dog. It could be about a walk they're going through. Some post that they did that was inspirational, a spiritual connection post. Be about anything. You just want to get in and start the conversation, right? Why it works. People buy from those they feel connected to, not just those who pitch them. Put that in red. Those they feel kind of a connection with. And you can actually, and not everybody's going to connect with you either. There are going to be some people who don't want to talk to you. There are some people who they're just not your person. But that's why you go in to make sure, right? So how do you use DMs for sales? As I've been saying all along, you start with a genuine connection. Reference something specific from their profile to start the conversation. Some people start the conversation, like myself. I hope King is in here. I did admit him. I don't see him. We just started talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Right. And I enjoy when people I'm not offended by people coming into my conversation. If you're on Facebook, they throw, as soon as you accept somebody as a friend on Facebook, they're in your inbox. The platform is saying start a conversation. So it's weird to me when people say, oh, I don't use DMs. It's not the most effective, because if you want to make Facebook is all about making connections with somebody. That's why you would use the platform. Right. If you want to connect with that person, Facebook is saying the best way to do it is through DMs. They put the person in the DMs for you. So why wouldn't you use it? Right. Create an opening for a conversation. Use questions that invite responses. Like, I was reflecting on how we all face our hurdles, like overcoming bullying or those moments when things don't go as planned? Is that a part of your journey? Isn't that, it's all a part of the journey, isn't it? Sorry, getting sometime. Insight on resilience in your recent post really caught my attention. What sparked such a wonderful way to overcome that? You see how that's a conversation? It's not going in and it's all about you, right? Here's a pro tip. Open-ended questions work well. So here's an open-ended question. Joycey, I saw your post on hair. Let's say I do hair too, but I'm doing something different. Is the approach you talked about moisturizing, is it with a cream or an oil? See how that's going to start a conversation? Now Joyce is going to come back and say, well, I use oils, blah, 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 blah. And it starts a conversation. Okay, lead with value before the offer. Share insights or a quick tip related to their response rather than jumping straight to selling. So what that would look like is, hey, yeah, I saw that you said this, that, let's say, I saw that you said that cold DMs don't really work. I was reading your post and you were talking about cold DMs. I would probably say, why don't you think it works? And they would come back and tell me it doesn't work because this, that, and the other, the other. I said, then you could say, have you ever thought of a different approach to cold DMs? Maybe it's not really cold DMs. Maybe what you think it's a cold DM is this or that, the other. And then you can just give a tip. Here's what I found about cold DMs, and then you give your tips. Cold DMs feel cold because people try to sell you right away. It's not cold if you have a good engagement with the person from either a post or even just the DMs itself. You start the conversation this way, and you just give them a tip. Next time, try this. I did that in LinkedIn the other day. The person just dropped this, and I said, I don't know if you mind me doing this, but the next time you approach somebody, do this, this, and this. And they were very appreciative. Now I can go back and ask more questions because I just gave them a tip. All right. You can always do that. Actually have something that could help them, that you could help them with, right? Then you could say, would you be open to a quick chat about this? So you can actually go on a Zoom call if you wanted to, or give them a resource if you wanted to. You could say, are you open to seeing how this is done? If the person says yes, say, go here. It's only 2 minutes. I'll come back and see if you have any more questions or da, da, da. That's how you kind of get them into your sales mechanisms, and they get to see what you do, right? So here's a real example. For that $23,000 day, we didn't invite just anyone to the Zoom call. We personally reached out to the people who had shown interest and nurtured those relationships in advance. So what we were doing is that before we even invited them, we had already had intentions. So when you are doing DMs, you have to have your intentions already set before you even go in, right? That's why it works well, right? What is the intent of this DM conversation I'm going to have with this person? So before the DM, we would give them some stuff. We would like say, hey, this is what we do in terms of getting more sales. We do this on the profile. And so would you like to see that? And then they would say, yeah, because if you don't have your profile type done right, when people come to the profile and you're asking them to join your network, they're just going to leave you on red, or just delete you, or just don't respond. But if you have your profile this way, they'll respond to more, right? And then we gave them the resource, right, before they even invited them, and then came back later and said, hey, I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at the resource. A lot of times they don't. Say, but you know what? Never mind about that. We're having a whole 3-day, 2-day event. We're going to go into precise detail and go into details as to what you're going to do. And those people came because we already gave them a research source. Whether or not they watched it or not wasn't important, but we just gave them something for them to have on top of their mind. And a lot of people showed up. So that's how we got people there. So here's a practical script, and then I'm going to go to the DMs in a few minutes. The tool that I use. Hey, Joycey. Hey, Michael. I've been thinking about what you said regarding, on stage presentations or the oils that I need to use on my hair. And I wanted to share a quick tip, and then you give the tip. Also, I'm hosting a small group called a group call to dive deeper into this. We'd love to have you join this. We'd love to have you join. That's a practical script. So we did something like that. And that's the way to get them to enter into your world. Now, a lot of people, what they do, they want people to buy immediately. That's a skill that you need to practice. It's not that it can't happen and happen with us, but that's a skill that you need to practice. But when they're in your world, you can reinvite. And this is where the small shift, the $5 shift came in that I did the last time. You can invite them to the replay or something that costs just $5 because we want a buyer's list. Once somebody takes out their wallet the first time, they usually buy again, especially if the resource that they got was really good. All right. So listen, after nurturing relationships through DMs, we didn't just get people to show up to the call. They were engaged, invested, and ready to buy because we built real connections before. And here's the key takeaway. It wasn't the number of people that made the day successful. Stop thinking it's quantity. If it's quantity of the right people, then yeah, heck yeah. But in the beginning, when you don't have a whole lot of people, that's okay too. You just want the right people. It's the quality of the conversations and the trust that we build. So in conclusion, stop chasing numbers, start focusing on meaningful conversation. Your audience size doesn't really matter. So right now, I'm going to be going over the DM connection tool so that you can know how to use it. And I'm going to give a 5, like you can use it for 5 prompts. So I'll send the link to you so you can use it yourself and get acclimated on it. So this is it right here. It's my friendly expert DM connection tool. There's certain prompts that are in here, but I'm just going to use this one, which is I'm going to tell you guys to use. What's a friendly way to start a conversation that shows genuine interest in your work without becoming across salesy? So you're going to click on here. And you can give it some prompts too. So it says, hey name, or whoever the person's name is, you can fill that in. I just finished checking out your recent posts on digital mentorship. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with how you break things down. I'm going to stop right there. I'm really impressed. You see that it's very conversational. I'm really impressed with how you break that down. The reason why that works. Psychologically, we are selfish. We are just born that way. It's in our DNA. That's why when you're Christian, you have to give up your life and all that. And this whole thing about not being selfish. The root of most human beings' behavior is due to the selfishness, the self-desire, putting ourselves first. That's just our natural nature. How to diffuse it psychologically is to talk about that person and not talk about it, right? So this is what you're doing right now. I have to say, I'm really impressed. So you gave a compliment. It's all about what they're doing, not what you're doing, right? And so now the attention is on me. Wow. Yeah. I like that you said that, right? Your approach is so refreshing. Another compliment. It's about them. You compliment. Complimenting it psychologically, they feel like, oh, what I'm putting out there is good. Oh, somebody's connected. And usually what happens is that they'll start talking about their business. And you want that to happen, right? A lot of people, oh, you talk about my business. You want that to happen, guys. That is not offensive at all. You want them to be talking about themselves. They're giving you what I call intel. You can write down what they're saying. You could make, notes about what they're saying. And sometimes what they're saying is off, right? And it's not good, right? You can write it down. You can have that as a frame to enter into other conversations, or write posts about it. It's intel. You have a Google sheet out and you write it down, what they're saying. And then you write a post that goes against what they're saying, or throw stones at her or whatever. But that's a whole different conversation that I help people with. You can say, what inspired you to dive in that topic? Now you're going to get more information from them because they love talking about this. I'd like to hear more about your thoughts on it. You see how that's a conversation? And this tool can help you. And if you don't like it, just say, and you can tell it what to do. This is what's great about the tool. Say, I'm a hair care specialist. How can I enter the conversation? Oh, you can change this around because of the way it's worded, but because AI is different. You can say, "Hey, name, I recently came across your post about natural hair care." Right? That person might have been saying, "Hey, braids or whatever," right? And I really impressed with your comment of helping others achieve healthy locks. I know dry hair can be such a struggle. What's been your remedy so far, right? And this is somebody who may be just doing hair or they've been trying different shampoos or whatever, whatever. And you could change, yeah. So they might have had a post about hair care, or maybe they said something about their hair. You can change it around. But this is just an example, of course. I'd love to share some tips that have worked wonders for my clients. So you see that that's a really good conversation that you can start. You can putting this even on your post if it's underneath the post. Right? So maybe you want to start a conversation with, I saw a post where someone wants on stage in front of a small audience. If you give me an entry. Hey, I noticed your post about wanting to master public speaking in front of small audience. Such an exciting goal. I'm really impressed with your determination. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? I'd love to share some insights from the experience in digital mentorship that might help. Or you could put mastermind and you could tell the AI, and you could just keep kind of perfecting the entry point and then try it and see if it works. And if it works, you keep that as an entry. If it doesn't work, you go back to the tool and try again. Hey, anybody else have one that they want to try before I stop? As you guys ask questions, I'm right here, so let me know if you want it. I'm right here, so let's try it out together. Unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
I think you touched bases on mine already.
Okay.
That was good.
That was good. You like that?
Well, of course I would be changing it around, but yeah.
Yeah, you could. What's good about this tool, if it doesn't spit out what you want, you can say no. I want to talk about this or whatever it is that you want to talk about to this person. So let's say you have a new person on your thing and you want to get some intel. You could say something like, I have you can say, I have a new potential client. I want to start a conversation with. Don't know her type. Let's say that's something that you want to know. Give me good entry for this conversation. Hey girl, whatever her name is, came across your profile. I noticed you're interested in hair care. It's a vital topic. I'm curious, what's been your biggest challenge lately? I'd love to share some tips that cater to different hair types and help you find what works best for you. All right. How's that sound?
That one is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could keep perfecting the thing and say, no, I want this, no, I want that. I'm just, of course, just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
Whatever's in your brain, you tell it. I'm just kind of like giving it what's in my brain. But you give it what you put in there. But the point of the matter is, anybody else before I stop the demo? And then we ask questions. Anybody else want to ask a friendly entry conversation DMs question? Michael? King?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, that's good. Act as my knowledgeable wellness coach and give me 5 conversation starters for wellness enthusiasts.
Okay, I am a wellness.
You tell it to act as a knowledgeable wellness coach.
Okay.
And give me 5 conversation starters for wellness enthusiasts. Okay, I'm on a lot of
okay.
groups on Facebook, wellness
Okay.
groups. So I want to get the conversation started with them.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Hey there, I saw you posting about mindset practices. I'm curious about what's your favorite way to stay present during the hectic day? Well, I said, so this is mindset. So you do mindset? Because it's thinking wellness, health wellness is which kind of wellness?
Health wellness.
Okay, here's some nutrition.
Yeah, like nutritional. Is that tool free?
It's I'm giving away 5 prompts for free, but it's not free. But I'm giving away like because you came to my call, I'll make it 10 prompts for free. So for the health habit, it says here there. Hey there, I noticed that you're into nutrition wellness. Which one healthy habit have you adopted recently that made a difference for you? I love hearing about little changes that pack a big punch. That's a good book. I like that.
Let me screenshot it.
I'll drop it in your inbox.
Okay.
I'll make a copy and drop it. Of all 5. Okay. And if you want to use the tool, I'm going to send the link out so you can play around with it a little. And I'll put it up to 10 for a short period of time because a lot of people use this tool and I can't differentiate. I don't know how to differentiate different people. So I'll just make it 10 and then afterwards it'll cost. Nothing crazy.
Usually with prompting, I was told that you want to give it a persona.
Yeah,
So
this
that's
has a
why I would
persona.
say,
Yeah, this
okay,
has a
yeah.
persona. This has a persona. It's specific to starting that conversation where a lot of people they don't know how to start the conversation. So it's helping you to start the conversation because people like to start with their business and that's not a good way to start.
Nope.
So this will just give you some ways to think about it. You know, it just might give you something like, oh, that's a great idea. I have a spin on it. That I want to make it more personal or whatever. So yeah, it's all about. You can separate these when you see. You can separate. I can email it. So I'm going to put it on it. All right. Anybody else? So I'm going to stop sharing and you guys ask any question that you might have. Hey Richard. Hey John. John Paul and me.
So the question that I do have is
Okay.
Yeah, you carry on.
Did you say something, John?
No, I said hello.
Yeah, okay. How you doing? Thanks for Tim for popping up. Okay, so what were you saying, Joycey?
Oh, the question I have is I can connect with IG Messenger. I can DM them through IG and Facebook, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can do IG, Facebook,
Or okay.
Instagram. I mean, LinkedIn, any chat.
Okay.
Anywhere there's a chat, you can use this. Yeah, for sure. Hi, Darren. Yeah, so for Darren and John who came in late, I did. I'm going to give you the replay so you can see, but it's like an entry point for DM conversations. Michael came up with some good ones. I'll share the screen real quick, and then I'm going to end this live. So I don't stay on long. But this is my tool that I was talking about. It's the friendly DM connection tool. And in the video that I'll send you, I'm just really talking about how people think DMs is the worst and cold outreach, and you hear the market say, don't do this and don't do that. And I started this whole thing out by saying, whatever works for you works. There's no right or wrong in marketing. It's just how you want your business to run.
Yeah, I agree.
So don't yeah, right, Michael, right? It's like, there's no don'ts. Like, whatever you want to do, you can perfect whatever is in your mind. Do not let the industry or the market tell you a bunch of things that you shouldn't do. Whatever you feel comfortable with, you do, right? And so here was a prompt that Michael gave initially, if I can find it. So the tool helps you to enter the conversation with somebody. A lot of people don't know how to enter a conversation. So he said, act as a wellness coach, give me 5 conversational starters for wellness enthusiasts. And so he gave some mindset stuff, and we kind of like changed it around and said we just want to focus on more can you stick to nutrition wellness, and look at what it spits out some really good ways to start a conversation. So like healthy habits. So if he wanted to, if he was in the mindset of talking about healthy habits, or he came across somebody who feels like this would fit, he would say, "Hey there, I noticed that you're into nutrition wellness. What's one healthy habit adopted recently that made a difference for you?" I love hearing about little changes uh, that pack a punch. Or, "Hi, really inspired by your passion for nutrition. What's one go-to ingredient you can't get enough in your meal?" Like, these are some really good ways to start a conversation. And for the majority of what I was talking about here, I was talking about just having a good way to start a conversation, so that it's not about you, it's about the other person, and they're more likely to respond back.
But Sharon, I want to ask you something because
Sure.
we got some ladies with the company, and they do lives and they pitch their products
Mhm.
on there, and I just think that only works with the influencers or if you have a very large audience of followers. What do you think about pitching on a live your
Pitching on
products?
a live works really, really well, but the thing is that sometimes there's a way to pitch, which a lot of people don't know how to pitch. The pitch has to be the pitch is not a list of your products and services. Pitch is more emotional, like you're taking them on a journey first, so that they can see that, yeah, if I don't get this, oh, I don't know. So your pitch, which that's something that I do as well, because I went to a program and learned how to pitch. The pitch is not your list of things that you have. The pitch is more about the other person. So you can put it in a story framework, like, yeah, you see that road down, or you see that bridge across the road. Hey, across that bridge is the size 2 you're looking for. Across that bridge is da da da. Across that bridge. So they're now getting attached to this thing that they want. And then the thing that you're going to give them is going to give the thing that they want. So it just depends
Okay.
on the pitching. A lot of people don't know how to pitch. They pitch their products and service on a list. It's a list of stuff. That's not how you pitch. You pitch according to whatever, like if I was doing a 5-day, which I'm going to probably do sometime in June, I'll probably do a 3-day launch. 3-day launches are good because 3 days, you get to know who you are. And you go through each and everything. And then when you get to the 3rd day and you start to do the pitch is all about where they want to be, not about the products. That's what people get wrong. They pitch their products, not where they want to be. And that's why they can't sell it. That's why it's hard to sell it, because now it's about you. They don't see themselves in the picture. When you're pitching, you got to make sure the person that you're talking to sees themselves in that picture that frame that you're creating. And so a bunch of you get this, you get that, you get this, you get that, not going to work as well as you see this bridge right here, and you have a picture of a bridge. That's what I usually do. You see this bridge right here? I'm going to take you across that bridge, because across that bridge is your best fit client. If I was talking to Joyce, across that bridge is that her girl who is that girl that looks in the mirror and a patch of her hair is gone. And we know that it's her crown in beauty. Every time she wants to go out with her friends, she hesitates because, my God, that patches. Do you see how that's going into their world and not the crowd? So that's how you do it. If it would be you, it would be, sitting outside, and you make it present. Like you're sitting on a bench and you're watching people go by, and someone runs by and they look all fit and they have their watch on and they're looking young. And you said, boy, when I was 25, I used to look like that. But now I'm 55 and I don't look like that.
These two girls in my company, they do it over the sink. I don't think that would work for me.
They go do it over the sink?
Yeah, over the kitchen sink, and they start talking. And
they selling? Because if it's working.
Yeah, they're selling stuff.
Okay.
I want you to drop something to get the thing.
Okay. And is it selling? Because
They're the top earners.
Okay, so those kind of action videos work really well. If they're over the sink and they're demonstrating, yeah, of course. But if you're not going to do that, then you have to paint a picture in their mind.
Now infused with 2 times more natural essential oils for our best ever fragrance.
So
Yeah,
see this.
I don't want to talk over the kitchen sink.
I hear you. So what are they doing?
I have done over the sink only because I'm demonstrating something
Yeah.
about washing the hair.
Yeah, so that would work. So why don't you, let me ask you this, why don't you want to do it over the kitchen sink? What's the problem there?
It's just, I think that works for women. And
Okay,
I'm
so
a guy.
okay. And what are they doing over the kitchen sink? Like, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing over the kitchen sink?
Usually they're it depends on what they're talking and over the sink, and they're showing you I don't know, they're showing, they're usually preparing something.
Oh, okay. They're doing something while they're talking to you. That's
Yeah.
a really an effective way. You can do the same thing. You don't have to be in the kitchen sink. You could be doing a guy thing. You could be
Okay.
driving. You could be taking a walk. Those are kind of activity type driven type of where they're actually doing something makes people stay. So if you're like preparing your lunch, maybe
Yeah.
that's not a girly thing. Like you're preparing a sandwich, saying, "Oh, hey," like, and you can talk to the guys or talk in a way that is both male and female. You say, a lot of times I like to spend, I like to prepare my sandwiches that I do every day, and I'm just making this up, of course, at noon. Why do I want to do it at noon? And then you just start saying your thing, whatever that thing is. At noon, that's when the body does this, that, the other, whatever it is for you. But here's what I carefully do on the sandwiches that most people don't do. I only put this or whatever your nutrition thing is. Reason why that works is this. And then everybody's engaged because you're actually doing the activity right in front of them.
I see.
See what I'm saying? Then before you take it, so I want to take a bite and say, but before I take a bite of the sandwich, because that's what you call what is the name? There's a name for where you say something and say before I. It's like almost you're hooking them in. Before I take a bite of the sandwich, they're looking for you to take a bite of the sandwich, right? But before I do that, before I get to that, it's called I'll get the name for it. I want to tell you this. Your nutrition goals not that far. This sandwich that I just created is just one step towards your weight loss because of that. Then you just start taking them down a journey for them, not for your products, not for your services, for them. Make them the star of any conversation or any live that you're doing. And you're gonna get people who say yes to it. It's like what I said, everybody's internally selfish, which is born now. It's not a bad thing. It's just that's the way we are. We have to give our hearts to the Lord and do all these things to kind of buffer that innate wanting to do for ourselves. We see it in our kids when their kids are growing up. Mommy, I want this. And if they don't get it, they start crying, right? That's selfish. That's just the way it is. That's the way we are. And it doesn't go away when we get older. We just mature in it. So it's like, yeah, I can't have it maturing. So of course, what I did today is just a small piece of what I do. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Sharon Stewart Francis, and I've been working online since 2012. But this should have been in the beginning. But what I help with people is organic stuff like this, DM conversation. But what I do, my specialty is the offer, because without the offer being dialed in and knowing your core audience, who you're going to talk to, what you're going to say to them, and everything, this whole stuff won't work. You can't just dive into the DMs. You want to be able to have a well-rounded view. And today, my program usually costs $3K to get everything, $32K. And if you just want the offer part, which is the most important part, without the social media, it's usually $1,200. Today I have $797. A little social media, a lot of offer, and the DMs. That's a steal because usually the whole kit and caboodle is over $3K. So I just want to put that out there that if you want to have your offer dialed in, we can have a conversation about it. Have your offer in a way where the messaging is right. People are attracted to it. People want to buy from you instead of everybody else. Then we have to polarize the right people, and we have to get the messaging right. Without that right and offer dialed in, it's going to be hard to sell online, especially in 2025 and moving forward as more people are getting online and not really knowing what they're doing and saturating the market with foolishness. So that everybody becomes a skeptic, right? And it's hard to be. So your messaging really has to stand out. Your offer really has to stand out. I'm be creative. The shortcut offer, what that is we take a very small piece of your offer and we shave off the fat, and that's all we focus on, and that's what you're going to be known for in the industry. So Michael will just be known as I'm just making this up, so you're not known for this. It's a guy who knows how to make nutritional sandwiches. Let's just say that. And that's all he talks about. So he's going to attract a certain type of person because that's all he's talking. And a lot of people don't know how to wrap their minds around that, but I had a client named Justin who said, this is not going to work. What are you talking about? This is not going to work. He joined my program, and I think a couple of months when he started implementing, he sold out his entire comic book. He does comic books, and he did it 3 times. So it was repeatable. He did it not once, but twice, but 3 times. Now he has a full website. He's on a roll now. Just because we shortened the offer to one specific thing. Offers, we make offers every day. Will you marry me is an offer. Would you like to go to the park? Is an offer. Go to the movies? That's an offer. There's a zillion offers. You don't have to make them bloated, big, and crazy. You can offer one small thing, charge them $5 to get into their world so you get a buyer's list and sell the rest of your stuff in the back. They don't have to see everything. Matter of fact, the less they see, the better, because it's overwhelming when you say, I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. Nobody can, it's hard for people to but if you narrow it down to something really small and unique is a really important thing too. Because if you sound like everybody else, that's a problem as well. So we make it unique so that you stand out. That's my specialty. I've done it for hundreds of people. My client Kelly sold right over got 3 sales, and she was doing MLM like you, Michael. And she didn't get sales for years, for 6 years that she was in the business. We dialed in her offer, and we did something similar. She was doing like putting the stuff on her face in her stories, and got 4 or 6 sales in one sitting. It works. It works. So just want to let you guys know that I'm here for you, and that's what I do. This is recorded, so I will send out the replay, and my replays are always just for a short space of time, and people have to pay for the replay because I do a lot of value in these training. Any more questions before we go? I usually don't go over
You
an
say
hour.
short amount of time. Short amount of time is what?
Usually, I usually do a week or 10 days. And then it goes to paid event. The paid event is $27, not a lot. And then I usually add more value to that, get on live with me, and we do whatever is needed, questions or whatever. So I always add myself to the paid events so people can get to know me. And I teach you how to do the same thing. I don't believe replay should be free. It's not. If not, if you're giving good value.
Okay.
A replay should always be free for a time, then they pay a small thing. Because what you want to do, which is in my last thing, is have them pulling out a wallet. You want a buyer's list. You don't just want a list of people. You want buyers from your list, people who actually pull out their wallet. Because psychologically and statistically, they will do it again. You'll get repeat buyers if it's good. All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We're good? We're good here? Let me see how many participants we got. Hi, Darren. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Larry, thanks for coming. Everybody, thanks for coming. And I'll see you on the next mini training.
Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Okay.